Today we are talking about a cause of back pain that I had really kind of forgotten about, even though I saw this really clearly about 15 years ago with a client back in San Diego. And I remembered this because it has been causing me some pretty bad back pain. And now that I have recognized the problem and also begun to solve the problem, my back is feeling a whole lot better. And I want to share the cause and the fix for you in this video. I also want to explain how this group of muscles causes your back pain and why you might be training these muscles in a way that could be aggravating your back, because general advice often tells you that this is the thing you should do to fix your back pain. So stay tuned to the end so you understand how to train the right muscles in the right way to make sure that you don't F up your back. And before I forget, what brought you to this video? Are you suffering with back pain right now? And if so, how long has it been? And if you don't have back pain, how did you solve it? Drop it in the comment section down below. And now let's talk about me and Boney so you understand one hidden cause of back pain. And warning, this next bit makes this video PG-13. So Boney McBonerson here is going to help us understand one cause of back pain, and it's the one that has been really affecting me in the last year. So you've got your core. Your core is basically the muscles all around here that wrap around the ribs, the spine, and also to the pelvis. Okay, this whole area people call the core, and you might also include the hips. Now, what do people say when you have back pain or when you are trying to prevent back pain? They say you should train your core, right? And when you hear train your core, you probably hear train your abs, right? You're gonna do planks, you're gonna do crunches, you're gonna do sit-ups, could be toes to bar, whatever it is, you are training this area. Maybe you'll train some stuff in your lower back, which will be good. You'll do Supermans, maybe you'll do some back extensions. All sounds good, but a lot of people, because this was the mantra like 10 years ago and still is the mantra today, depending on the PTs or personal trainers that you're seeing, they'll just say, train the crap out of your abdominals. Okay, so your abdominals, you have the rectus abdominis that pulls the rib cage down. It attaches to the front of your pelvis. It helps you do crunches. Okay, you also have the obliques, and I encourage you to look at an anatomy book, or if you've never heard of a book, you can look this up online. Please don't ask AI to draw you a picture because it'll probably show things in a bizarrely odd way. So look in an actual anatomy website, maybe try Wikipedia. You're gonna see that the obliques kind of wrap in very interesting ways. They go at diagonals. You have internal and external obliques, and they effectively pull the ribs down. If they're all firing at once, it would help pull the rib cage down. It could also help you do twisting if you're coordinating it to get a twist. So there are striations, the fibers pull in these directions, right? So So if you train your abs, they actually create a bunch of spinal flexion. And spinal flexion is when you're going into this C curve, okay? Let's make this a little more clear. Your abs, they're here. Rectus abdominis is the six-pack muscle, which I have the muscle, but it's not really a six-pack because I drink 1 to 3 cans of ginger ale a day, but it's okay because I am rocking dad life. All right, so your obliques are going like this and like this, so those can help you pull this way, and when they're all firing together, boom, you're crunching in like that. This little poochie area would be a lot worse if I could eat cheese or any other dairy product. Do a little dance, make a little love, get down tonight, get down tonight. So when these muscles are firing, they're pulling you into a C curve, which will be not great if you're trying to live a pretty active life and if you don't like looking like the Hunchback of Notre Dame. He means Notre Dame. Sorry, I forgot some skeletons around here, studied French in high school, and are très annoying about it. So about 15 years ago, I was doing massage and body work, and I had a client come in tell me that she had constant neck pain right up here, and that she had had a lot of massages to try to loosen up the stuff around her shoulders and neck, and nothing seemed to help get rid of this chronic pain. So she came to see me, and I looked at her and part of my normal process at that time and even today is to look at somebody's posture. How do they stand? What does it look like? Does it seem effective, efficient, mobile? Do they seem flexible, etc., 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 right? So she was standing. She was strong. I could see from her legs, her arms. She was muscled. She was fit. She went to the gym quite often, but she looked a bit like this. And I started thinking to myself, what is out of balance here? Well, the obvious thing when you're looking at somebody who's standing like this is that they are in a C curve, because the C curve is not really a very efficient place to be. It means that one side is short, one side is long, and in order to move around, twist, and turn, you need your spine to actually be in its regular S-curve orientation, because this allows for spinal rotation, it allows for side bending, it allows for all the motions that the spine is capable of. But when you are locked in this C-curve, that flexion, you actually start running into things that you don't want to run into, because the bones will start running into each other in funny ways because of the way the bones are shaped and the ribs are shaped and the way they all interface. So as you go here, you start losing range of motion, you start pinching on muscles, things just don't feel good. So I thought to myself at that time, well, what could cause this hunch? Well, the answer, as we just talked about, is these abdominal muscles. So what we did at that time was actually work on her abs. We just went along the side of the rectus abdominis and we just started to loosen some things up, right? So just telling the rectus abdominis, hey, can you chill out a little bit? Because she had been doing tons of ab work because that's what everybody told her to do to fix her upper back and neck pain. They said, hey, strong abs means a strong back. Okay, great, except now she had all this pain. So once the abs were loosened up, and I don't mean we like went in there with a laser gun or something and like made things super loose and gave her a pot belly or anything, but we just went in and said, hey, muscles, chill out a little bit, right? Just get in on either side of the rectus abdominis, go in and just gently kind of lift the muscle up a little bit, press in and lift a little bit, just to give a little bit more lift to the front of the rib cage. So we did that. When she stood up, she was like, oh, huh, that feels different. Feels weird because different position, right? She's normally here. She felt like, oh, yeah, my neck doesn't hurt because her neck's not stuck in this position where all these muscles are working all the time, where the bones are just not able to stack on top of each other, but rather are like arched out over each other, right? If you just think of like a bridge, if you were building a bridge, you need to have supports to keep everything from falling straight down, right? Golden Gate Bridge, you have a suspension system to make sure that this thing that spans horizontally doesn't fall into the water. If you just stacked everything on top, you don't need all that because it just rests, right? Same thing with your spine. You want your vertebrae stacked on each other, and that is a position of real energetic efficiency, right? Obviously, if you're moving around, muscles need to work, but if you're just standing, this is the simplest, easiest, lowest energy expenditure position. That experience with that client made a big impression on me, and it also dovetailed with a lot of things I had seen with my own body. I had a lot of thoracic outlet syndrome type problems, carpal tunnel type problems where my hands, my wrists, my forearms would go numb. I had neck and shoulder issues and back pain as a result of a long period of time where I was just slumped at a computer, tippity-tap typing, mostly on a laptop in college and through my 20s. But recently, in the last few years, I've been working more on a nice open setup, using a split keyboard, using a separate mouse, doing everything correctly, except I kind of wasn't paying attention to what was happening to my posture. And when I would go surfing, which was an almost daily occurrence, I would be slouching while I was sitting on the surfboard, and I didn't quite put one and one together until I got slapped in the face and realized that my spinal extension, my ability to get out of that C curve, was severely compromised. So over the last year, I was noticing some low back pain, and I was noticing my mid back always felt a little torqued and twisted, and my neck would kind of feel funky. Left and right sides would hurt on and off in different ways. And it all kind of made sense because I was always twisting to the left like this because I was riding a surfboard and constantly doing this, which is requiring a left twist of the spine and rib cage, unless you are a goofy-footed freak. And all of this was starting to get my attention, but what really got my attention is I was at a music festival and I like to dance around and get funky, and some people I just met started dancing with me, and one of the girls went into a back bridge and made it look super easy, and I was like, oh, I could do a back bridge. I used to be able to do those just fine like 5-6 years ago. So I went down going, yes, this is gonna be awesome. And then I went, oh my God, oh God. Try to keep cool, try to keep cool, try to keep cool. I couldn't believe how hard it was to get even a little bit of spinal extension. I could feel all the muscles in my back spasm up just trying to maintain that position. And when I recently started meditating on a daily basis, I realized I kept feeling like something in the front of my body was pulling my ribs into this position, which puts my spine into a C curve. And all of that added up to the simple realization that, hey, I need to actually stretch open my abs and stop training them so hard. Do a little dance, make a little love. Get down tonight. So if you've been regularly training your abs and you feel like your back is not feeling better and you feel like your posture is getting worse, that you can't get spinal extension, the good news is you don't have to just try to start doing back bridges to try to fix this problem. And in fact, I don't recommend that. There's some simpler things you can do, which I have been doing to start opening things up so that I can back bridge properly again. So the super simple, easiest, no equipment thing you can do to start stretching out your abs and restoring some spinal extension is to actually just get on the floor here. I'm using an exercise mat because hardwood is not that comfortable. And you're gonna have your hands in front of you. You're gonna start lying basically face down, and you're going to start to lift up towards the ceiling. Now, when you do this, you wanna pay close attention to the sensations in your body. You want to feel stretch sensation, challenge sensation in the front, in the abs, okay? You don't want to just feel like you're jamming your back anywhere. So any of the muscles along the spine, if you push too hard, too fast, you're going to feel compression. You're going to feel like something is pinching in your back. Don't do that. If you carefully tune in, you're going to feel, okay, something in the front, along the ribs, it could be along the chest, along the belly, is feeling a little bit of tension. That's what you want to pay attention to. You want to breathe into that. When I say breathe into it, I mean inhale and try to mentally direct your breath into that area so that it can stretch open more. I was noticing when I first started doing this that there was not a ton of restriction when I was just going straight up. But if I added a little bit of a turn or twist, I could open up a ton of tension around the obliques, or basically at the sides of the ribs. So again, if I was just going straight, I'd feel like some tension here, but twisting would add tons of tension here. So let me show you what that looks like. Rather than just coming up straight, I would come up, brace a little bit with one side, post up on the other side, and then start twisting a little bit, right? Or side bending a little bit. And that would open up a whole lot of stretch into the sides here. Now, again, careful if you're doing this. You're going to just make sure that the stretch, the challenge is happening in the front, not the back. You also don't want to feel like something's gonna pop or snap anywhere. So take your time, go slow, be gentle. When you can hang out here for 30 seconds to a minute, and as you get more comfortable, familiar with these positions, you can hang out longer if it feels doable, tolerable, and safe for your body. I highly recommend not doing this for 5 minutes your first time around because you'll probably cripple yourself. So just go slow, find the tense areas, and relax, okay? Then, as you get better and better at it, you can keep moving into more extension, right? So you bring your arms in tighter, my elbows are coming in tighter, or you can come up onto your hands and again, focus on feeling the stretch in the right place. I find that the more extension I get, the more I need to focus on what my hips are doing and what my legs are doing. So making sure I keep my glutes at least lightly squeezed really helps keep the back feeling good. Also, I want to pay close attention to whether my abs are getting the challenge or getting the stretch. I want to pay attention to what angles give me access to a better stretch. So like today, and actually many days, I find that going in a twist off this direction really helps open up my left side, because that's the side, I think, that gets closed down the most when I'm in a board sport position, whether it's surfing, snowboarding, or one-wheeling. It's constantly this twist to the left, which closes this down. So just making sure I'm opening that up safely and gently with some nice breathing really helps. And if I can get a sensation of stretch along the ribs, just below the ribs or even in the ribs, that's really nice too. And fun little fact, it's not just the obliques and their fascia that blend up in here that affect your ribs and rib cage mobility. You also have muscles called the intercostals that are in between each set of ribs. And those muscles can also use some stretching out. So when you're going into these extended positions and then you're breathing and really trying to inflate your lungs, you're also going to be doing some stretching of the muscles in between the ribs, which will make them that much tastier for next year's barbecue. After you've stretched out the front side, you might want to strengthen the back side a little bit. So you can do that in what's called a kneeling sphinx. So you can have your toes either pointed or curled under, whatever is comfortable for you. You have your hands on the floor and you have your butt close to your heels. Then you're going to lift the back of your head up towards the ceiling and then hold it. You're just going to hold this position. And you're looking at me and you're thinking, that's easy. And I'm looking at you and I'm thinking, just wait till you try it. So you're just gonna hold this position, breathe, and try to relax. Make sure you set a timer for around 30 to 60 seconds, longer if you feel like you're that much stronger. And you're just gonna hold it. Just breathe, relax, and eventually you're gonna start to feel the muscles all along your spine working to maintain your head and neck position. This is going to be strengthening spinal extensors. It's going to be helping you get better posture over time, and it's going to help prepare you for something that I'm not even sure I want to show you because it's a little bit more aggressive, but I really like doing it, so maybe I'll show it to you. Anyway, this is the kneeling sphinx. Some things to look out for are the spinal extension. You want it to happen more in the mid and upper back. That's why we have our butt on the heels. That helps keep the low back out of it. If you were to do it like this, for example, there's a good chance you'd start doing like the cow pose from yoga, where your low back is getting a bunch of extension, but by locking the butt in this position, it pretty much locks out the extension from the low back. Or, I mean, not completely, but it's good enough for government work. I don't work for the government though. In any case, you're getting spinal extension. Keep your chin tucked to really help combat forward head posture. If you want to, you can also think about lifting the chin up in the future, only if you are sure you're not just collapsing the back of your neck. That's why I'm saying tuck your chin, really get used to elongating the back of the neck, and then over time, you can start working on more extension higher up in the cervicals. But I don't even feel like I'm that good at it yet, so I don't think you're better than me, so let's not even talk about it. But we can talk about that third, kind of aggressive, but very fun exercise. Hey, before we jump into the third exercise, I want to invite you to check out the Back Pain Fix program on my website at uprighthealth.com/backfix, and I'll also have it linked down below. I've designed this program with follow-along workouts that you can do at home so that you can rebuild the strength and flexibility of your hips, your spine, your shoulders, so that everything feels a lot better in daily life so that you can enjoy your life again. So be sure to check it out when you're done with this video at uprighthealth.com/backfix. All right, let's get going. You could also start doing an easy progression towards a back bridge, but you're not going to do it on the floor. You'll do it next to a wall. You'll take your hands and put them up on the wall. Fingers can be pointing straight down or a little bit out, whatever your wrist and shoulder mobility allows. And you're just going to put them up, and you're going to walk your feet a little bit away, and you're going to be pressing into the wall and maintain as much of an arch in your mid and upper back and in your head and neck as you can. If it feels like your head is too heavy, that's because you're really smart, because you watch the Upright Health YouTube channel. But you may not be able to stay there too long because your neck muscles are too weak to hold your head. That's okay. Just do this in little bursts, and then over time your neck will get a little bit stronger and will be able to hold your head. Or you could also rest your head a little bit against the wall, or you could use a block or a cushion behind your head if your neck gets too tired, and then you're gonna be pushing into the wall, feeling muscles of the upper and high mid back working as you press into the wall. And then over time, you can just drop that sucker out of the way and keep pressing and pressing and pressing. Now you can play around with your foot position. You might need to walk your feet further away, but that's going to make your shoulders work a little bit harder. You might want to move your feet in closer to the wall. That may be a little more doable, a little less challenging. Maybe you won't quite feel the right muscles. You just got to play around a little bit, figure out what works for you. And then over time, as you want it to get a little more aggressive, you can start putting your hands lower on the wall and then really working with those angles where your ribs have to open up, your abs have to open up, and you're just more and more open on this side. When you first start doing these back bridge holds against the wall, I highly recommend you be conservative and you only hold for like 5 to 10 seconds, because you're going to be using a lot of muscles in ways you've never ever done before, unless you were in gymnastics or you were a b-boy breakdancer. So be conservative and have low expectations. Don't force it, okay? Work yourself up to around a cumulative 30 seconds, and then over time you can work up to 60 seconds, and then as you get stronger and more comfortable with it, you can work up to more and more time. This is a very fun, easy thing to do wherever you are. It doesn't require a lot of equipment. You can do it pretty sneakily on your smoke break. Does anybody smoke? I don't know, your vape break. So you're just gonna be holding that. Nice big opening stretch, really helps strengthen your shoulders, opens up the front of your body and strengthens the back of your body. Just work it slowly and gradually. Please remember that slow is safe and fast is foolish. All right, so that is 3 exercises you can do to help restore balance to your core and to your ribs, to your spine, to prevent back pain, to get rid of back pain. If you've been training your abs a ton and your back keeps feeling worse, this is definitely something you want to start trying. So you can start with the cobra position that we talked about, really starting to open up and stretch the abs, doing that for around a minute or 2 minutes to help open things up gently and safely. Then you can start doing the kneeling sphinx to really fire up the muscles on the back of your body, fire up your spinal extensors, really get those suckers going. And then if you want to get a little more aggressive, you feel like your shoulders can handle it, you can start doing the back bridge progression on the wall. And then over time, when you start getting really, just too ambitious, you're too old for this. Seriously, you're too old to be doing this. Why do you do this to yourself? Why? Why do you do this? Is this really good for you? I don't know. What I do know after 4 decades on this earth and almost 2 decades of helping people move better is that being ambitious, setting ambitious goals, makes a huge difference to what your body can do, and it really helps keep you motivated, and it helps your body move better and feel better. If you're suffering with back pain and the ideas and the exercises in this video don't seem like they're the right fit for you and your circumstances, you might be totally right. This is not a one-size-fits-all approach, so hopefully everything I've laid out here gave you enough context to make the decision for yourself. Ultimately, you are in charge and you do need to make the decision for yourself to figure out how to navigate and give your body what it needs to feel its best. I have plenty of other videos on back pain that should help you out. You can find them by searching for Back Pain Upright Health on YouTube. And I also invite you to check out my Back Pain Fix program at uprighthealth.com/backfix. I'll have it linked down below as well. It's designed to help normal people like you build strength and flexibility in the spine, the hips, and the shoulders so that you can enjoy your life pain-free. Again, so I invite you to check it out when you feel ready. And by the way, it's money back guaranteed, so that if you don't benefit, I don't benefit, which is the best possible way to set things up, I think. In any case, if you enjoyed this video, if you found it helpful, please hit the like button, drop me a comment, subscribe to the channel. And as always, I hope you remember that pain sucks, life shouldn't. Do a little dance, make a little love, get down tonight.